So if you guys have any questions, okay, after what we call that my kind of presentations, or during my presentation, you guys can raise your hand, or maybe you can actually open up your mic, okay, one at a time there, right? Okay, because it might going to be interrupt a little bit there. But I haven't tried basically my kind of what we call that screens over here. I just click those drawing there. Okay, let me check basically, okay, whether I can actually enter those kind of screens or not. But it seems like I have some sort of technical issue on my phones over there, because I cannot actually join basically this sessions over here, because I want to show you guys how I actually do it manually there, okay? But later I'm going to show you guys on that, okay? Don't worry about it. So the thing is, the important things that we need to know basically, okay, on our lessons over here. First of all, okay, we need to draw, okay? We need basically to draw, okay? Otherwise, we won't be able to make it through with our lessons over here, all right? So before basically we start our lessons, normally I'm going to take those attendance. Okay, basically on our screens over here, you guys can see there, right? Okay. This is basically, okay, good. Normally I'm going to check our timetables over here every morning there, right? Okay. So I have to basically log in back again. So I'm going to call names, okay, but if for lecturing class, normally I'm sometimes I'm skip actually, right, okay, those kind of attendance that first, okay, but when I actually calculate between our attendance over here, there's around 99 students actually have joined, right, okay, our class over here. So we can actually measure between those attendance right here. But from the practical class, normally I'm going to call names. Okay, I'm going to call each one of you guys names, even though I might not going to be remember all your names there, right? But I try basically, okay, to remember, okay, most of you guys' name. Especially I'm going to remember those who not actually what we call that committed with your works there. All right, those who actually quite not committed with the works, or maybe the work is quite poor there, right? Okay, and maybe the work is quite good there, right? Okay, I'm going to easy for me to remember the names there. So because I know that I'm going to call the names personally in our lessons there, right? Okay? But one of the things that I want you guys to understand here there, right? Okay, because we have this kind of online sessions there, right? Okay? Entirely for our lessons, entirely for all of your subjects there, right? So you guys have around how many subjects that we have for this semesters? 5 or 4? Introduction to illustrations, right? And then we have, do you have any kind of design subjects other than illustrations, image manipulations? Yes? And the other one there, right? I believe you have around 3 or 4 design subject there, right? Okay, image manipulations, introduction to illustration, which is our class here. And then we have what? Color studies, they're good, right? Okay, color studies. Who actually teach you guys color studies? Introduction to art, yes, okay, 4 there, right? Introduction to art, right? Okay, intro to art, right? Okay, good. Because all these subjects were basically, okay, measure there, okay. All these 4 subjects were basically are related there, okay, are related between each one of them. Okay, don't actually try to say that, okay, oh, I learned this one and they're going to be different. Yes, the methods and also the way that you're going to produce some of the works are going to be different, and some of the theoretical kind of lessons also a bit different there, but they're going to be related to the data, right? Okay, so all these kind of subject that we actually have designed for the student were basically to develop your design sense. All right, design sense. All right, how actually you're going to sense those design, okay, how we're going to evaluate and understand about those design methods there, or design principles and design element at the same times. Okay, that's basically one of the important things here. Let me check basically your, I have a trouble with the login here. Okay. Normally in our first sessions, okay, first week, second week, basically there's a few kind of links there, okay? So hopefully you guys can be patient on that. Yeah, I think the survey is quite busy there, right, okay? So, okay. Oh, you have a curriculum, right? Okay, curriculum, okay. What type of curriculum do you guys thick for this MCO kind of what we call that sessions there. CoQ 9 AM there, or you have a 9 AM kind of curriculum there, right? What kind of curriculum do you have there? You're taking for dance? Well, that means you have to dance online there, right? Basic musics, gym. Oh, I will. Okay, basic music compositions there. Gym workout, basically you have to work out at home and then you shoot those videos, that kind of things. Oh, photography is good there, okay? It's related there. Have you guys go to the Jiangxi? Oh, chess there, right? So have you guys can go to our college, to our universities to see around? Yeah, cannot, right? Oh man. Yeah. Our university is quite big, quite huge, you know, there, okay? I really love to see you guys basically, okay, on the, yeah, hopefully there, okay? So I'm taking also my vaccine there, okay, for the last 2.5 weeks, right? I think next week's on Tuesdays, basically, we didn't have any class, right? Yeah. Hopefully after this, okay, we also can actually go back into our uni there, okay, because I'm also have been around 1 year, almost 2 years there, basically, right? Almost 2 years there, right? That I didn't go to our university, right? Okay, only once I think, okay, I just go there just to send some of the papers there. And then, yeah, after that, we have to stay at home, basically, back again there, right? So it's okay, guys, okay? We just pray, basically, we can actually go back to our uni there, okay? It's quite fun, okay? There's a lot of things that you guys can explore from there, basically. We have a good gyms. We have a good kind of what we call that swimming pools there, basically, there, okay? There's a lot of sport activity you guys can go over there, okay? Also, the food also not quite bad there, right, okay? And also we have a lot of huge library at the same times there, right, okay? And of course, okay, normally when we have that kind of normal kind of, we call that routine lifestyle at university, okay, normally students are going to be shy a little bit to ask me, or okay, to talk to me there, okay? Because normally in our lesson, in our class, I will be a little bit more strict in terms of develop your skills, okay? You develop your skills there. But basically, outside, basically, okay, I can be more friendly, okay? I can be your friends there, okay? But we have a barrier at the same time, okay? We have to remember that, because the level of respect also we need to have also at the same time. The parking space, finding parking is going to be hard there, right? Because normally, if you have a pass, okay, for the student pass, normally you guys can actually park at inside our university there, right, okay? Inside our universities there, okay, our parking space is quite huge there. Sometimes we actually as a lecturers also doesn't have any parking space there, right? Okay? We have to park a bit kind of further into our block Q kind of office there, right? So I love basically walking around at the university. I really miss that kind of activities there, all right, okay? So it's okay, right? Okay? We pray, and also hopefully we can actually go back into our uni, okay, for next semesters there, right? Hopefully there, okay? Because I was basically what we call that request to our supervisors and also for our committee there, okay? If I can actually do a face-to-face for these subjects, only because I need to hand over our lessons, okay, traditionally to you guys back again, to my students back again there, okay? Because the problem that we have basically in our online session for the first semester students, they kind not going to be catch up a little bit kind of fully basically on our lessons there, because it's related with our hands skills, the drawings there, okay? Even though we use computers nowadays, but we need our fingers, our hands actually to move around those designs there, okay? We're not actually using only mouse that works there, okay? But we're using the tablet pen, okay? This kind of pen there, okay, to works on that. But I'm going to do both kind of demonstrations to you guys, okay, for you guys there, okay? But our assignments, okay, when we start our assignment, also our weekly exercise, once you will get your device, okay? So I'm going to give you guys a bit kind of sometimes that works there, and I'm going to share also some of the good device that you guys can use, okay, for the entire course, not only for our lessons only, okay, especially for your drawing tablets there, okay? Because otherwise we have to give you guys this kind of exposures, because this is basically the new kind of way of people making design nowadays, okay? Or the service are not available there. So maybe I'm going to check back again later on, right? So hopefully you guys can, if you want to have a drinks, okay, during our sessions, because you guys stay at home, right? So most of you guys stay at home, right? Okay, so you guys can do it so that, okay, it's not quite, our lesson is formal, okay, but whatever that you're going to do, okay, except playing games, you guys can do it there, right? Okay, except playing games there, because I have a few number kind of students, okay, back in the day, all right, while basically we have the lesson, you guys playing games there, because we have to focus on what basically I'm going to share with you guys, okay, during the lessons there. After that, if you want to play games, go ahead there, okay? So please don't play games there, right? Okay, so because it's not going to be useful for you guys, okay, because if you're not actually focused on what I'm going to say, even I'm recording the sessions over here. So guys, okay, for the start there right here, okay, I want to introduce you guys first what I've done there, right? Okay, my name is Mr. Faisal, okay. I'm actually 40 plus, okay. For be more specific, I'm actually going to be 46 this year there, right? So I've been teaching at TAUC since 2011, if I'm not mistaken, 2011 there, right? So there has been around 8 to 9 years, I think, there, right? That I've been teaching Introduction to Illustration subject, which is the first subjects that I've been taking, okay, they've been given from my supervisors, okay, in the early stage, because my strong foundation basically in illustrations, okay, in illustrations here. So I'm going to share also one of my link that I have. Basically, okay, this is my channels there, right? Okay, this is basically my channels there. This channel basically would been created basically for the students, okay? Whatever they have been record on my lessons, okay, I have shared in these channels over here. Okay, I'm going to so if I got a welcome interest, this suffice for now and future use. Yes, we are going to use now there, okay? So it's good if you have that kind of what we call that tablets right now, because you're going to use it for a very long period of time. I'm still using those tablets until this day there. Since I'm using these tablets around 2001, if I'm not mistaken, is there, okay? 2001 there, okay? I don't know whether you guys have been born yet there, okay, at the time there, okay? But at the times, it's very hard to find these tablets there, okay? These tablets there, okay? Okay, this is some of the tablets photos that I have, okay? I will share with you guys also this tablet later on, okay? This is one of the convenience one, okay, for Wacom tablet, okay, for those who have that, okay? But you have the latest ones, okay? If you have the big budget, you buy the more convenience one, okay? This is a bit more mobile, like I have this one also, okay, in my laptop kind of bag there, right, okay, that I'm using for mobile there, okay. Right now I'm using this one there, right? Okay, I'm using this one there, right? Okay, can you guys see here? Yeah, this one basically I bought around 1,000 over there, right? Okay, I think around 3 years back directly. 3 years, almost 3 years that I'm using. But this is one of the brand new one that I have. I have also, okay, one of the college one there, okay, Intuos Pro there, yes. But for the students, basically, okay, for the students, basically, I recommend you guys to buy the mobile one there, okay, the smallest one first, okay. It's not that quite expensive there, okay. But Wacom is the most recommended international kind of brand for tablets there, okay, because the sensitivity is quite different than other brand there, okay. But if you guys seems have a certain kind of budget, okay, you guys also can buy Huion, right? Okay, because I have tested also Huion before, okay, tablets. It's not that quite expensive than what we call that the Wacom brand, okay, Intuos Wacom, okay, and also they give also a few number kind of free gift also, okay, because if you buy Huion, that you guys have also a glove, okay, that avoid your what we call that sweaty kind of what we call that palm of hands are going to ruin your kind of what we call a tablet at the same time directly. So it keep clean and also get smoother kind of movement when you draw directly. Huion is one of the China brand that I find is very kind of closest technologies with the Wacom directly. So I think China did a very good kind of what we call that closest kind of device, okay, like Wacom there, okay, they've been done there, okay. So in the futures, I think Huion are going to be one of the popular brand, okay, that can also compete with Wacom at the same time there, okay. One of the reason I recommend all these two brands because the pen basically doesn't use any battery there, okay, even though the tablets there, okay. But other than kind of this brand, like one of the brand that I used before, Genius Tablet Pen, okay, if some of you guys have used this one, hopefully you guys don't buy this brand anymore. I don't think that they are going to be in the market anymore, okay, but this is very old versions there. But these versions basically were not quite recommended. It's not recommended, okay, because I think the pen actually, right, it's not that quite convenient there. They use battery at the same times, but I've used it before, all right. And also I didn't recommend you guys to use this one, okay, but if you guys have bought this one, it's okay, okay, Surface there, right, okay. I have this one also, okay, this Surface tablet there, okay. I buy it around 5K, but I'm not quite satisfied basically with the Surface Pro there, because if you use iPad, it's different, okay. iPad basically is a very recommended kind of brand, but it's a Mac there, okay, for artists to use there, okay, because the technology that they use is almost the same like Wacom, but a bit more advanced at the same time there, okay. So, but I bought this Surface, basically I'm not actually quite satisfied with the performance. So it's quite expensive, but it's quite design is very sleek, but for my practical kind of use, I'm not actually quite satisfied. One of the reason because when I actually first bought this Surface, they cannot collaborate with Photoshop that I use, especially the pen pressures there. So I have to use basically the external device like my kind of what we call that mobile tablets that I have. I connected with those Surface, and then I can use Photoshop to draw there, okay? Because that pen basically that I use, basically that it built-in kind of pens will not collaborate with Photoshop at the times. I think around 7 years back there, okay, when I bought them. Okay, so until today, basically, I'm still not using those tablets for working there, okay? Purposely, I bought them for working mobile there, okay, because I'm doing some sort of like event caricatures, okay, for the weekdays sometimes, okay. So hopefully I don't have to buy the traditional markers and pen anymore when I want to design a digital kind of portrait for the clients there, right? So it's quite very frustrated for me basically when I use this tablet directly. But if you guys have bought, if Sims doesn't work, basically you have to use an external kind of webcam when you want to operate your Photoshop directly. That's basically what I actually have experienced before. So technically I cannot help why actually happens, because I already contact also the manufacturers and also the technical assistant basically in Microsoft, right? But they still cannot actually solve that kind of problem at that time. I don't know the new versions were going to be more better or not directly, because I didn't buy them. I don't want to buy directly. But when I test also, I think last 2 years basically, okay, the new versions directly, the salesman normally cannot actually give that kind of answers, the right answers directly, because salesman doesn't actually do those designs there. Those are the problems there, right? That's what basically happens to me. Okay, but if you want to do those design works, it's better for you guys to buy the high-end game kind of spec for your laptop or your desktop PC there, right? Okay, so it's more better, okay, because if you can play games, who on us also there, right? Okay, yeah, I can, right? Okay, let me check. Yeah, I can, right? Okay, yes, it's almost the same there, right? Okay, but you have to remember one thing. If you use this tablet, it's not actually a plug and play, okay? Because you have to install the driver first. Okay, they give you around with a CD or maybe some online kind of what we call that installations there, okay? And you have to install first, okay? You have to install first in your laptops, okay? Those kind of driver, those kind of applications before you're going to open back again and use those tablets. Otherwise, you won't get the pressure point there, okay? What are the pressure point that I want to show you guys here? Okay, for examples, okay, you guys can see my screen there, okay? Okay, for the Adobe Creative Suites, okay, if you guys have CS6, you have CS, what we call that, CS version of Photoshop is okay. You didn't have to get basically the latest versions, okay? Because I'm using a 2017 or 19, if I'm not mistaken, with this Photoshop there. I have two versions. I have a Photoshop 7 and also Photoshop, this one is CC 2017, if I'm not mistaken, here. Right. So, so the versions of this, what we call the applications, is not that kind of very crucial directly for you guys to explore, because the important thing is, can you actually write using with the right kind of methods when we start to work with those tablets here. So one of the things that I'm going to introduce you guys later on, okay, is why we have to use these tablets there. Why it's very important there, okay? Because if you want to draw something, okay, especially when you use the one particular brush here, right? See, you guys can get this kind of strokes here, right? Okay, you guys can get this kind of strokes there. This is something that we want to explore. Okay, this is something that we want to explore here. Okay, you guys can draw using this kind of tablets, just like using pen or pencils there. This is one of the most important thing why we use these tablets, because when we're using mouse, we cannot do the same thing, right? We cannot do the same thing there. So when we want to get this kind of particular kind of strokes, all right? You have the confidence kind of line that you guys can use to draw basically your kind of illustrations here. This is basically why basically we want to use these tablets there, right? Okay. is one of the reasons there, okay? Because we can use just like we're using pencil or pen on the papers there, right? Okay, normally in digital illustrations, we are going to go through with that kind of lessons for next semesters for our multimedia students, all right? But because of MCO, we have online sessions there, and I improvise basically our lessons from traditional, fully traditional into 80% basically digital and 20% are going to be traditional directly. Because I want to keep those traditional kind of methods because I want you guys to get a feel. Because I think introduction to art and color studies, you have to go through with the traditional methods there, right? Okay. So I want you guys to have that kind of connection between these three subjects at the same time there, okay? Because you will get the kind of what we call that exposures there, understandings and experience. Those are the most important thing here, okay? When it comes to develop your kind of design skills and design sense at the same time there. That's why we need all these kind of methods there. So multimedia is not all about theories. Sorry, Derek. Okay, it's a little bit more practical there, okay? Understand how to develop your design skill at the same time, all right? So that's basically why we have to use a lot of this kind of device that works, okay? So is there any question? Can I use 10 moons D5H, okay. Put on ink, okay. I think most of it is almost the same there, right? Okay, let me check here. Yeah, Canada, right? Okay, it's almost look like the same tablets there, okay? As long as there is no battery involved with the pen there, okay? Because otherwise, like we have on the surface, okay, they're using a 4A kind of batteries there, okay? This one there, right? 4A kind of battery there, right? Okay? It's quite small there, right? Okay? And hard to find, hard to get there, right? Okay? So it's not quite practical there. I don't know why Microsoft using this one. Either they have that kind of what we call that they cannot actually get the patents, right? Okay, copyright for the tablets. I don't know that, okay, but there's a huge companies, corporations, right? Okay, so they should not use those kind of what we call that tablet pen for what we call that battery for these kind of tablets there, right? Okay, because it's a lifelong kind of what we call that. As long as the tablets doesn't actually write, the pen doesn't drop frequently there, right? Okay, it will be last longer there, okay. I'm using the last bamboo versions there, okay, for almost 10 years there, okay. For that tablets that I buy there, okay, and I bought a new one basically, okay, just to have the mobile on my works there, okay, or sometimes my kids also want to play with this kind of tablets there, okay, so I buy for them to get some exposure and experience from there. So yeah, you can use them, right? Okay. This one is almost look like a bamboo there, right? Can I use Wacom? Yes, can there, okay? Is Wacom CLT472. HP laptop research. Okay, I think if the can there, right? Okay. This is the one that I have. Okay, for my mobile kind of works. CLT472.
So I have a question.
Yes.
I already bought a tablet earlier on, and I've been using this tablet for like 2 years.
Okay, good.
Would you recommend me changing a tablet or keep on using this?
If you have no kind of problem or issue using that kind of tablets, okay. So I think you don't have to buy the new unless you want to buy a spare, right? Okay, for you guys to work there, right?
Okay.
XP, yeah, right. Unless you want to buy a spare, right? Okay, because I don't know, okay, if you have some of the budget that you have, okay, you want to buy a spare, because this one is basically just like, this is the, I think this one, right, okay, that you have the, right, okay, HP laptop T160, right, okay, if you guys can use for gameplay, okay, you can see basically the spec there, right, okay, the very high specs, if a very good graphic card there, right, okay, and also they have a very huge space there basically, okay, for you guys to do a lot of heavy works. It's okay there, okay. So there is no kind of specific spec, okay, because one of the specific spec that I have give for some of the students will be a bit more higher, like around 4K, for example, or 5K, but it's a very good kind of what we call a spec that you have there, okay, for them to works. Yeah, XP Pen also is quite convenient. So, okay, but I haven't used them. But some of them have used this one. They kind of very quite good also already, XP Pen, as long as you can get the pressures right there, guys. Okay, so like some of you guys who have used these tablets, on OCES, you can use the Ember there, okay? XP Pen. This one, right, Vika A15 there, okay? There's a lot of model nowadays there, okay? Yeah, if you guys can use them, okay, you feel quite convenience there, and they have a very smooth kind of works. And I think if you guys have used more than 2 years, I think your drawing and illustrations is quite very better, right? It's quite better there, okay? So you just have to enhance a bit more further in my class, okay? And we are going to go a bit kind of fundamental back again, foundations to develop basically back again your skills there. But if you have this kind of experience before, and I believe nowadays, most of the young students, young generation have exposed a lot there. That's a very good part of that. You have that kind of package there. And of course, okay, the more things that we've known there, okay, we try to a bit kind of humble a little bit and learn basically back on the foundations there. Because if you have a strong foundations, you can do anything you want in the future, especially on your design skills there, okay? Because I learned also the same thing, okay? So I want to give you guys some introduction a little bit there, okay? So most of the models that you guys have, it can be used there. Don't worry there, guys, okay? I just show you guys on, and also Welcome is one of the 2 brands that I have used before, other than those kind of Genius pen and also the Surface there. But if you have buy basically VIC A15, right, or XP Pen, and you find quite practical for you guys to use, okay? Just continue to use whatever device that you have. But like I said there, okay, because I also have some backup kind of tablets that I bought basically for any kind of emergency that we have there, okay? And I also have at the back there basically our college kind of gave me basically to borrow basically this kind of all right, you guys can see there, right? This is one of the old Cintiq versions there, okay? It's quite dusty there, okay? Because I've packed basically this basically Cintiq, all right? Because I kind of doesn't want to use back again because there's a lot of wires involved. There's a lot of connections there, okay? So to plug in to set up basically the Cintiq, the old versions, is quite very complicated there, right? Okay, but it's very useful there, okay? It's very good there, okay? The smooth kind of strokes line that I have is kind of very, very kind of exclusive there, okay, for me to do those works there, okay? But these versions basically around, I don't know how much basically, okay, nowadays, okay, Cintiq there, right, okay? But Cintiq nowadays, okay, where comes Cintiq Pro? All right, a 4K. Okay, I think last time they bought it around 6K there, okay? So this is very professional kind of what we call that usage there, okay? But in the future, you want to try to buy them, go there, go ahead, okay? Go ahead, okay? Because the old version that I have here around more than 10 years there, okay? When I actually use them, basically the color coloration is not quite similar to the screens there. That's why when I use that kind of syntax, I just close those screen. So I relying back again to my monitors there, okay, to work on that. But the new version basically is quite convenient. Okay, maybe I don't know. Maybe in the future, maybe I'm going to invest to buy them back. Okay, because the most important thing right now, basically, I just want to do those works. Okay, so I didn't actually try to invest a bit more further on those kind of device anymore. But I buy one or two kind of what we call that tablets, just in case there is kind of accident happens there. There is a kind of what we call the emergency happens on the technical kind of things. I will actually change those tablets there, okay, from time to time, okay, because normally, okay, when we work with the technology, we work with the technologies nowadays, okay, I kind of felt like that I don't rely too much, even though we have to, on these technologies, okay, because the things going to be happens, okay, sometimes the technical issues, the glitch, the right, okay, connections problem like now, okay, so it will happen, okay, that's why we have to do a lot of backup there, okay, at the same time today. So I want to introduce back again here, okay, it's 10:40, 10:50, almost 10:50 there, okay. So for our lessons over here, okay, so when I take a look right now, we have around 101 students, okay. Welcome each one of you guys here. So we're going to have a very formal but a bit more casual kind of sessions, okay. And of course, okay, every week there are going to be a few number kind of exercise that we have to meet up there, okay. But for this week, basically, we're going to do a very light exercise there. Light exercise there, right? So unfortunately, I cannot actually demonstrate to you guys on the phones, okay, traditionally, okay, but I'm going to record, and also I'm going to what we call that, send it over back again to our first week kind of streams over here there, okay. So I want to give you guys some sort of like before I'm going to introduce myself back again there, okay, because we talk a lot here. So I want to give you guys some sort of what we call that, a glimpse on what I actually have shared with you guys, okay, for the last week there, okay. So first of all, this is our timetables over here. Okay, my timetables are going to be on Monday, 10 o'clock until 12. We have our lecturing class, okay. So it's good to have a first lecturing class for every first week, okay, every week, because we are going to share with kind of theory, some samples, some works there, okay. And then after that, we have group 5 and group 1 kind of what we call the practical class there, right? Okay. I got to have a class. I don't have class invitations. I don't have got this classroom invite. What do you mean, Deming? How? Okay. Zishin there, okay. Yeah, i7 processors, minimum Intel, yes. Memory 16 gigabyte RAM, 8 gigs, then good. Yeah. Okay, if you can upgrade later on, you're good, dedicate, okay, 4 gig. Yeah, can there, okay. Zishin, okay, it's quite good, okay, so big, okay. For the SSD drive, okay, 512 gigs. Is big, kind of what we call that standard there nowadays there, okay. But if you to do some long run, okay, if you have 1 tera, it's more better there, okay. If you have the budget, okay, to put 1 tera, okay, with extra external or external SATA hard drive, maybe this, yeah, it can be there, okay. This kind of what we call it specific, and this kind of specs is quite good, okay. It's quite standard for the games there, okay. Yeah. Normally you can ask the administrations about those, yeah, the profiles, like internet profiles, like you can get from there. All right, thank you very much, Paul Long, and also Caris there, okay? So if my laptop don't have graphic card, can I? No. If you don't have any graphic card, it's quite hard, Deraki. You are going to be quite slow at the same time, Deraki. So we need basically Yuki. We need this kind of graphic card there, right? Okay. Otherwise, it's going to be a bit more slower, Deraki. Kind of works that can later on. Student run the profile. Okay. Thank you very much. Okay, Munyi. All right. Okay, for the assistant there. Yeah, SSD card can, right? Okay. Yes. SSD card is a graphic card, right? All right, thank you very much, guys. Okay, for assist our friends over here. Okay, for the group tutorials, there, right? Okay, thank you very much, there, right? Okay, so do you have any class reps yet? Okay, Brian, you have Windows 10 Home 16 gigabyte, there, right? Okay, 156 yeah, SSD run over. Yeah, can there, right? Okay, it's a game specs, there, right? Okay. All right. Even though okay, in our laptop, in our lab, okay, we have both kind of platform. Okay, we have both kind of what we call that device machine that we use. Okay, Mac and also PC there. Okay, but if you have both better there. Okay, but I actually a PC user. Okay, I'm a PC user there. Okay, but for rendering, for video editing nowadays, okay, both kind of what we call that applications or tools are going to be what we call that machines are going to be convenience there. But Mac, of course, be kind of expensive at the same time, right? Okay, and normally, okay, we are going to recommend for you guys to use PC there first, there, okay. So those are the things that I kind of like what we call recommend because I'm a PC kind of guy there, okay. But even though I can use Mac basically, but not entirely for my works. But it depends basically on your kind of what we call that budget that works there, okay? Oh, because I actually right doesn't have any kind of what we call that students kind of what we call that contact basically, okay, for last week's here, okay. That's why I'm when basically Mr. Fen Yu actually asked me to give the Google link for classroom there, okay. So I add all those kind of links over there, and Mrs. Shipping basically are going to be assist to contact all the students. Okay. So right now, basically, if you have my kind of what we call that, okay, this is basically one of my email that I use. I think I already give also on the our last week kind of what we call that announcements. All right, and this is my basically okay, my contact WhatsApp numbers. Okay, please WhatsApp me. Okay, and also I'm going to create a group there. Okay, on WhatsApp group after this. Okay, if we have that kind of what we call that class reps. Okay, if we don't have, okay, please let me know. Basically, when you introduce yourself, which group basically there. Okay, so I'm going to create a group from there. Okay, each groups. Okay, if I'm going to add one person or two person. Okay, for that groups, if you seems to know your friends, okay, you guys can actually write. I'm going to give you guys become an administrations, okay, admin there, okay. So you guys can invite your friends later on, okay. We have to help each other there, okay, as a families, okay, at these moments there, okay, in order to assist one of all of you guys together there, okay. So those are the things that we can done there, okay, to do those works here. So the more kind of what we call that communication that we can do together, okay, is more better there, guys, because this is the online sessions, okay, we only can get to know each other, okay, on screens only there, okay. So better to work close in the online sessions. And also normally I'm going to open up my kind of what we call that WhatsApps almost 24/7 there, okay. Okay, so those are the things, okay. So hopefully you guys can actually cooperate with me at the same time there, okay. So that's the best thing that we can actually suggest for you guys here to works. So let me share some things that okay, from my kind of what basically I've done that first, okay. All right, so you guys can see here right now. All right, this is basically my kind of slide presentation, okay, to introduce myself, okay. So what basically I've done basically, okay, at the time, okay, this is basically Gloss Studio is one of my companies that I've done and run also for the last, I think, since 2009 there, right, okay, 2009 there, right. So, but we actually run a freelance kind of works at the same time, so we do some of the commissions kind of works here. Okay, so back in the day, basically, okay, we have a lot of freelancers coming there, okay, that based on illustration and animation is kind of what we call that works there. And I also have been contract also with some of the companies, okay, to do some of the work for them. All right. So this is basically entirely basically running by myself. All right. So this is some of the works. Okay, I'm actually a graduate from University of Technology Mara, okay, UITM. Okay, 1999 there. Okay, I have a degree. Okay, in first degree basically, okay, in illustrations, okay, graphic design, and illustration is my majoring there. Okay, so I've been certified also as a creative director visual animation professionals, okay, from CCIG and also FINAS, okay, Film Negara, and also Multimedia Corporations here, all right, they sponsored that, right, okay, in from 2015, all right, as a professional kind of what we call that experience there, okay, in animations. And I'm also one of the panels there, okay, for multimedia, kind of what we call the subjects there, okay, and also information technologies there, okay, what we call that is the industry experts there, okay, in the subjects. Okay, I've been served basically since 2014 until today. If there is kind of what we call that meetings or sessions that we have to do there, okay, so I have to go there. Normally we are going to go, we go outstations from there, okay. So we're going to sit over to discuss about our lessons, our subjects there, okay, and give some sort of opinions that can be sort of experience. All right. This is basically one of the things that I was playing around with my works there, okay. This is the pictures of me when I was, I think, 4 to 5 years old there, right? So most of this kind of what we call that works basically I've done basically for the commissions for the clients there. So there's a few number kind of what we call that work that I've done, okay. So I came from a multiple kind of disciplines there, but illustration is my core. All right, okay? Illustration and character design is my core there, right, okay? So that's why they actually have given me a very full kind of what we call that committed, okay, with these lessons, okay? So for me to nurture and also assist and also help the new generations of students to develop their skills in illustrations there. So this is some of my personal kind of work that I did for the clients at the times, and also for my own kind of self-promotions there, okay? So all this kind of work, basically I've done using traditional using a digital methods there. I'm using AI, I'm using Photoshops, I'm using Adobe Flash. This is one of the wall design that I create, okay, in 2017 there, right? So this is some of the demonstration that I did for the students for the FYP projects. So I create back again based on their ideas there. But unfortunately, they cannot actually develop this kind of works because they lack of practice and understanding. So that's basically one of the important things there, guys, okay? Whatever you guys you learn from now on, please basically practice a lot there, right, okay? Okay, I've done a lot of character design, okay, back in the days until today there, right, okay? But all this kind of work basically from one of the companies that I worked before, and also some of the in-house kind of project that we did there basically there, right? So this is some of the children's illustrations kind of works that I did, some caricature kind of works there. So if you guys can take a look here right now, okay, this is some of the portrait of my ancestors, my families. Like, this is my dad, my uncles there, this is me basically there, right? So this is also one of me caricatures kind of works that I've done, some of the commissions kind of works that I've done, okay, for friends, from the clients themselves there, right? So I've done a lot of illustrations kind of works back in the day. This is some of the graphic designs kind of works that I've done before there, right? Okay, a sample kind of works, some illustration back again, some cartoon characters there, using flash, some wall designs kind of proposals, more kind of illustration, caricatures, portrait kind of works, which is using Photoshop there, okay? Some logo design that I create there, right, okay? And this is some of the one of the projects that I did basically. This is some of the in-house kind of what we call that game apps. All right, this is some of the one of project that I did with one of the universities there, okay? University Islam Selangor there, okay? College University Islam Selangor there, okay? San Selangor. Okay, we did this kind of what we call that some R&D of the games apps at the same times. All right, so I did a lot of this kind of illustrations, logo type illustrations, okay? And this is some of the earliest kind of traditional kind of works that I did there, all right, okay? This is manual there, okay, using acrylics, charcoals, on top of the cardboard there, right, okay? To explore basically my exploration in my illustrations there, using the floppy disk, you know, the floppy disk there, you guys know CD there, right, okay, or DVD there, right? So this is some of my sketchbooks that I create there, all right? One of my sketchbooks. So I have a lot of sketchbooks here. So this is also one of my sketchbook that I have here right now. If you guys can see here, there, right? That I use basically for my practice. Okay, we are going to see a lot of these kind of demonstrations later on there, guys, okay? This is some of my earlier kind of sketch that I did, okay, when I was students, when I was working there, okay? And also do some crossover kind of project with other university at the same time, so for the R&D projects there, right, okay? I have a few number kind of sketchbook that I did before there, okay? This is all traditional kind of works there, right, okay? Using watercolors, charcoal, color pencil, mixed medias there, okay, to work with it. So if you take a look right now, okay, I came with a lot of various type of what we call that disciplines that in illustrations. That's why I'm going to be the right person for you guys to assist you guys to develop your skill in illustrations here, okay? But don't worry, okay, we're going to go into foundation step first, okay? These semesters, okay, I already trim a little bit on our lessons, which is I'm going to introduce you guys later on, that we are going to do a bit more foundations kind of intensive skills before we're going to do our assignment or our projects there, right, okay? But you guys have to commit it with all this kind of exercise there first. Because without this kind of commitment on this exercise, you guys won't be able to develop your entire skill there, okay? Because I already developed my skills for almost more than 25 or 30 years there, right, okay? So if you guys just want to learn everything in 14 weeks times, it's not enough there, right, okay? So you have to go through more intensive kind of exercise every single day there, right, okay? But you have to enjoy first, okay, your works here. So this is some of the works that I've done before, okay? Some of the clients, some of the undertaking. This is basically, it's not my works. Basically, I design on papers, okay, all these kind of characters there, and then my kind of colleagues and team basically are going to model them back in 3D animation or 3D models there, right? Even though I did a few number kind of 3D animations, okay, but I'm not actually what we call that specified in that 3D kind of what we call that platforms there. So I've done a lot of 2D kind of what we call that characters there, okay? So, and also concept kind of illustration styles there. So I can actually develop an almost any kind of styles, okay, that I want, basically based on a commission, based on plan, or based on my own purpose of projects there. So it can be kind of flexible, okay, but why we can become this kind of flexibles? Because of the skills there, okay, because I've been developed all this kind of multiple kind of understanding there, okay. The foundation has to be strong first before you're going to develop any kind of style that you want there, okay, from anime, manga, chibi characters there, cartoon styles, or figure drawings, portrait drawings there, okay. So we're going to go through all that kind of things, but using the digital methods at the same time, we are going to embrace also our traditional kind of skill at the same time, right? But without that kind of foundations, you always be worried about how to design and develop your skills, okay? So that's why we are going to train you guys to develop the foundation there first before we're going to go through with a lot of more kind of what we call that advanced kind of methods of drawing. But if you have that kind of skills, the package that you have developed for several kind of years, it will be more advantage there, okay? It will be a good advantage for you guys to move further on there, okay? And I would say you don't have to worry about that, but the things that you guys have to be more concerned, if you don't have that kind of skills yet, please follow exactly what I've told you guys, okay? And also share most of your works, and we are going to do some consultation at the same time, okay, to develop your skills here. So this is some of the commissions kind of work that I did, okay, in 2009, if I'm not mistaken, there. All right, it's basically a wall design, okay? It's a wall design that we print on wall stickers there, okay, for one of the companies at Cyberjaya there, okay. It called MDEC there, okay, Multimedia Development Corporations, Malaysian Developments, Multimedia Development Corporations there, right? So this is one of the earliest kind of projects that I did with them, and this is for one of the wall for Giggle Garage, but we not actually get the final kind of works with those wall because the landlord of those premises doesn't allow the company to use this kind of what we call that designs, okay, for the wall. But this is some of the works that have been transferred from digital to the physical kind of form there, okay, using acrylic kind of surface there, okay? Acrylic kind of surface there, right? Okay, the exercise, yes, okay, but because today, basically for this week's, I will let you guys to draw first whatever style that you have, because I will get to know you guys to work with your own styles before we're going to do some our foundations kind of exercise there, right? Okay? So basically you guys welcome to do any kind of style at the moments, but when it comes to do those exercise, please basically what we call that follow my kind of exercise, right? Okay? Because from those exercise, if you want to combine basically your skills, your styles, okay, your styles of workings, not your styles of illustrations there, okay, your styles of working with my kind of lessons, it will be more better there, okay? Okay, because most of the students who actually have that kind of skills, okay, who have that kind of skills there, right? Okay, this is also one of the comics that I did basically, okay, using basically, okay, this is a bit more like children's book illustrations, okay, but this is more like a serious kind of drawings there, okay, that I use digital and traditional at the same time, but this is entirely digital there, right? So I'm using Photoshops, okay, to draw the whole compositions here, okay, the whole compositions there, right? So I kind of like love to explore, okay, back in the day with a lot of various type of styles there. So if you seems to say you have one style, it's not enough there, okay? In order for you to succeed and survive there, okay? But if you want to draw that kind of styles entirely, perfectly done, just like the professionals, is good, right? But try to be more flexible. I really recommend you guys to be more open up your kind of thing into various type of way, because it will give you guys a bit more kind of advantage in the futures there, okay, for you guys to execute your works there, right? Where is it? Yeah, okay. So this is some of my recent kind of works that I've done before, okay, for one of the comics there, okay, in I think around 2008, 2007, 2008 there, okay. So this is some of the design works also that I actually use my personal kind of illustration styles there, okay, to what we call that, to visualize a monster kind of concept, okay, in the client works there, okay. So I kind of like love to explore a lot of various type of styles there. This is also one of my final kind of wall design that I did for MDAC Daraki, Sabujaya Daraki, using the same concept of what we call that subject matters. And this is one of the design that we did basically for IJN Daraki, Children's Hospitals Daraki. If you guys have gone over there, okay, there's a few number kind of wall that have been created that based on my illustration that, but this is one of the full illustration that I get from the printers that I did those works there, right? But they did a few number kind of adjustment from that wall, okay, to finalize them, right? So some of the character designs, game apps that we did basically, okay, back in the day, and some of the characters there, right? Okay. So this is a crossover projects with my company, also University Kuala Lumpur, right? Okay. They have this kind of run of educations that we did to create a concept, illustration, and animation style for Panglima Awang, right? So I did a very a conceptual kind of character design model sheets here using a wayang kulit kind of style that works. Okay. And some of the very light comic strips there. And more traditional kind of works that I did for one of the exhibition that we did crossover with University Bangsa Malaysia, the UKM there, okay. So some of the dishes, okay, some of the things that I've joined basically before that, all right, with this NOS program basically, okay, that I did for my industrial kind of practice. Okay, we did a lot of what we call that discussions, okay, for the visual kind of what we call the visualizing kind of subjects, okay, for artists there, and some of the workshop that I did, okay, for the kids, okay, back in the day around 2015, if I'm not mistaken, there. All right, some of the art jammings that I did. All right, and also this is basically one of the activities that we create in our university there, basically, okay, in our uni back in the day, okay. This is a web media kind of subjects for graphic design students. So we did a lot of outdoor, inside our classrooms, okay, inside our uni, right, okay. So there's a lot of place that we actually can gather basically, okay, from that lessons. So we did a lot of nature's watercolors kind of exercise and assignment at the same time there, right. This is some of my previous kind of students who came over, okay, to my demonstrations at Kuala Lumpur Conventional Centers there. And I did with this kind of collaboration with Doodles there, okay, with Shopee basically. And some of the workshop that I did with the kids, okay, in Balai Seni Lukis Negara there, okay. This is basically two of my daughters there, okay. This day was when I was young. Okay, now actually they were 19 and also 14, okay. And I have another three boys there, okay. 3 boys, okay, after these daughters there, okay. So basically, right, okay, this is our studios there. Okay, this is basically our studios there, okay. One of the workshops that we have in our what we call that uni there, right? Okay, it's quite messy there, right? Okay, but this is basically a drawing workshop. All right. So you guys can check look. Okay, this is basically my Flickr doesn't have any more there, right? Okay, Instagram, our channels there, right? Okay, Facebooks, and so my email there. Okay, you guys going to take a look back again later on there, right? Okay. So guys, okay, that's basically a little things about me there, okay? And I've been go through with a lot of workshop and also some sort of demonstrations, discussions there, okay? Oh, group 2, I'm group 2. Okay, who is it, right? Let me check, okay? All right, later on I'm going to check your WhatsApp group there, okay, guys? All right, now, about our samples over here, okay? Our channels over here, okay? This channel basically there, okay? From the, you guys can go through back again later on, okay? I have a few number kind of lessons that I did, okay? But this is not basically like a commercial kind of channel, okay? They have introductions, nice introductions, and direct into demonstrations, okay? I do a lot of explanations, okay, according to those lessons. This is basically some of the, from 2020 there, okay? Kind of lessons that I did in lecturing class, some of the introductions kind of works. All right, this is my demonstrations there for my first introductions, illustrations in MCO kind of what we call that periods of times. So I did a few number kind of demos right here. Okay, if you guys can see there, okay, right now, check here. So how actually I do this kind of demonstrations. All right. This one basically look like a tracing, but basically it's not. This is one of the methods that we are going to use, but not today, but not next week, okay? In order for you guys to understand about how to control the pressure point using the reference there, okay? I'm using reference because I want to help some of the students who cannot basically have that kind of particular kind of skills yet, okay? To help them to visualize that. More easy, how actually going to use those pen, how are you going to use those pencil or drawing pen basically, okay, to work with your exercise, to work with your skills, okay? And normally in our traditional kind of lessons, we're not allowing students to trace, but we are going to use our observation exercise, all right? Observation exercise, which is we're going to be our eyes connected with our mind and our hands together, okay? Coordinations, these two coordinations that to works on that, okay? So this is basically my demonstrations that I did for the earlier stage, last semesters last year there, okay? How actually you're going to do those kind of works there, right? So you guys can take a look how actually I'm using basically my kind of what we call that way of handling the tools over here. Can you see there, okay? I'm actually a right-handed kind of guy, okay? So that means I'm using my right hand to draw and my left hand basically is used to operate those keyboard there, okay? A shortcut key for keyboard there, okay? So I'm going to give you guys all this kind of what we call that demonstrations all the time there, okay? So don't worry about it, okay? But the thing that you should worry is, can you prepare to put yourself a full committed with our lessons? That's basically you have to develop, and also what we call that remind you guys all the time, right? Okay? Remind ourselves all the time there, right? Okay? So this is basically one of the methods that I'm going to use there, okay, to help the students there. But normally we're going to work with a bit kind of traditional like this, all right? Can you guys check it here? All right. So this is one of the lessons that I did before. Okay, you guys can see that, right? So this is one of the methods that I've done basically to develop your design sense and skills there. All right. If you take a look, okay, how actually I explain myself over here, okay, to the students, right? Okay, when I draw basically those drawings, okay, just like we try to record everything with our eyes and try to connect it with our hands together when we draw. All right, that's basically one of the most important lessons that all students have to be developed in order to develop their skills, in order to improve their drawing skills there, okay, or the illustration skill at the same time there, okay. So this is basically one of the important kind of lessons there. But without basically our face-to-face kind of session there, okay, I have to improvise a little bit. I have to trim a little bit our lessons there to make it a little bit more convenient, more better to approach you guys, okay, to develop that kind of understanding on the lessons there, okay. But of course there, okay, later on when I actually share you guys, okay, in our Google Classroom, our video sessions there, okay, I will show you guys how actually I handling those kind of pencil and pen together, because you're going to use the same things when we use those tablets, okay. The same kind of method, the same kind of movement, the same kind of way of working and handling the tools, okay, are going to be applied back again, okay, when you're using the digital pen, okay. Whatever that you guys using pencil are going to be the same there, right, okay. So right now, basically, I didn't trace. Okay, I have a model in front of me, and I asked one of my students basically to record these kind of demonstrations there. So there is no using those kind of erasers. If you check here right now there, right, I didn't use any erasers there, right. So in order to develop your skill in illustration, especially not digital but traditionally there, okay, to create those confidence, we are not allowed to using erasers there. But digital, yes, there, okay, we can use them, okay. But in traditional methods, in order to develop your kind of confidence, it's all about to develop your confidence there, guys, okay. We're not allowed to use those, what we call that, we use those, what we call that, erasers there, okay. Because if you use erasers, they will give you a lack kind of understanding of developing your confidence. You're not going to confident in yourself that, okay, because we need to create those kind of confidence and also connect it between your coordination between these three, what we call that, three different kind of what we call that, your kind of what we call that senses there, between your eyes, mind, and hands together there, okay. That's how actually you can learn to draw there, okay. That's a science there, okay. This method basically is not, I'm not creating by myself, because I've been experienced and been learning and also been taught by my kind of professional also teachers there, okay, who actually is still alive and still basically serve basically on those kind of educations there. So I learned the same methods there to develop my skills, okay. And this method basically will not be used only for locals there, okay. The whole world, when you go to any art school in the world there, okay, they use the same methods there for their foundations kind of lessons. Anyone who want to learn arts and design, illustrations, okay, that going to be go through with those multimedia. Multimedia basically is sections of what we call that, sections of what we call that, one of the sub-elements there, okay, or what we call that, one of the subjects there basically for design, multimedia there, okay. It's not basically entirely at the times entirely the courses there, okay. But nowadays we call it multimedia because there's a various type of discipline that you guys have to be understand, learn, expose, and develop your skills there, right, okay. So in multimedia, we have photographies, illustrations, okay, we have also video editing, we have also animations, we have a bit kind of game design, if I'm not mistaken, is there, right, okay, web design there, right, okay. And you guys are going to learn also what we call that, video productions there, right, okay, video productions there, okay, and also broadcasting a little bit there, right, okay. And also a lot of what we call that visual communications kind of projects that involve to develop your design sense and skills together there, right, okay. So there's a lot of things that you guys have learned. You need to learn there, okay? Now, this is basically the result from my kind of demonstrations that I did before, using that kind of observations kind of exercise there, okay? But nowadays, because we actually using technologies there, right? So we need to draw basically based on, all right, digitals there, okay? To mix up together our skills together there, okay? But all this kind of drawing kind of methods there, okay? It won't be able to be refined there, okay? If you not basically develop your kind of skills there, okay? How to control the pressures there, okay? The same thing that we use pencil or pen there, okay? So that's basically one of the important things that we have to go through first. We have to train our hands, all right? Okay? There's a lot of hands, drawings, movement kind of exercise there, okay? Those are the things that we're going to do there, okay? So in our lessons over here, okay, let me go through a little bit on our lessons here that have been created for you guys. Okay, this is something that we are going to go through there, okay? Before we're going to draw all this kind of portrait like this there, okay? First of all, okay, you have to understand about all this kind of way of connecting between your kind of line there, okay? This is something very important here, to draw the form, to continue to develop this kind of smoother control stroke kind of line, develop the confidence there when you want to draw there, okay? This is basically one of the most important things that we're going to go through, foundation step first, okay? A lot of things other than this one that we're going to go through with it. And of course, okay, if you take a look at my kind of what we call that samples that I share with you guys, I will already give you guys, you can download this one, okay? A few number kind of books there, okay? Reference there for you guys to use for the rest of your courses there, okay? Especially in illustration there, okay? There's a how to draw manga there, okay? Which is, I think most of you guys love to see there, okay? How to draw manga, animal drawings, and also some foundations kind of how to draw, okay? And also how to develop your kind of drawing skills over here. So this is also some of the samples that I have here right now, all right? How to draw figure drawings there, okay? All this kind of things, information is really important there, guys, okay? So we're going to go through with it, okay? Hopefully, one step at a time there to develop your understanding and skills there. Okay, one of the most important things that we have to go through first, later on, is how to handle the strokes here, okay? How to handle the strokes there, right? First of all, when you want to draw there, right? How are you going to handle the strokes there, right? This is some things that we need to practice there first. How to draw the sketch line here, there, right? Okay? This is something that we want to practice there, guys. 4 foundations there. Those students can draw like this, and then they can draw like this there, right? The sketch line there, right? Okay? A lot of multimedia students there, guys, okay? They doesn't know how to draw this kind of gestures line that we call there. Okay, G-E-S-T-U-R-E, gesture line there, right? To make sure that students, okay, or people can understand about drawings, you must be able to sketch in the right way. That's the most important thing here, right? Okay? You develop those kind of what we call that confidence. Okay, that kind of things there. Before you're going to draw anything there, right? Okay? You want to draw the kind of animals. You start with the basic structures there, right? Start with the basic structures that works. Everyone has to start to draw like this first day. Okay? It's not all about how perfect your how perfect your subject matter is, but you can create a confidence on your line like this first. Okay? Let's just say you want to design or draw any kind of manga characters there, right? You start with the basic structures there first. Okay, if you want to start to draw, start with this basic structures there first. We are going to go through with all these kind of things there later on. Hey, don't worry there, guys, okay? Yeah. And then we're going to basically to add a little bit kind of details there. But the point is right now, how fast basically you can draw and develop the confidence, okay? When you start to develop basically your skills. Okay, if you take a look here right now, okay, when I draw there, okay, it's hard for me, it's hardly can you find that I will use erasers there, okay, to work there. Even though there's a lot of things that we can actually improve from here, but the point is right now, how you can develop basically your understanding in a short time, okay, to develop your ideas before you're going to add some details there, right? That's basically what we're going to go through with it. So can you teach how to use Photoshop? Yes, I'm going to teach you guys how to use Photoshop, okay, entirely basically, okay, when it comes to illustrations here, okay, but we're not going to use image manipulations a lot, but we're going to do a lot of illustration and drawings there, okay. Yes, Chupin, okay, we are going to learn drawing skills, right, drawing skills there. That's why, okay, before we're going to go through all these kind of advanced kind of things here right now, okay, I'll just show you guys here right now, okay. We have to learn how to control basically those line there, right? Draw the circles here. Even though a little bit kind of what we call that weird, okay, circles become a bit more like ovals there, okay? But we are going to practice ourselves, okay? Even though, okay, sometimes if I want to design boxes there, okay, I'm going to do a lot of lines there first before I'm going to work on that, okay? We have to practice to draw like this one there first, okay? A lot of people always find out, okay, when they draw the line, they draw like this. This is the doodle line there, guys. This is not the right way to draw, okay? This is not the right one to draw, okay? You want to draw the circles using pencils there, okay? Draw one circles like this. Practice yourself, okay? Control your pressures there, okay? I'm going to share you guys those videos, okay? In our streams later on there, okay? How actually I'm working with my traditional method. We're going to do some traditional methods there. All right, first of all, for this week, okay, we're not going to work with computers yet, right, okay? We're not going to work with computers yet, right, okay? But I want you guys to work with the sketchbooks, okay? We're going to work with the sketchbooks there first, okay? But when you draw, okay, you might going to use reference and might going to be not there, okay? But at the moment, okay, for this week's, I want you guys to prepare there, okay? Prepare for us, okay? Do you have any sketchbooks? Okay, you can use A4 papers also at the same time, okay? An A4 size of sketchbooks, there, right? Basically, I already put on my right here. Let me check back again there. Check it out, huh? Okay, normally the guys, okay, our assignments there, our project basically, okay, I'm going to give you guys the basically the latest one there, okay, later on. Okay, normally in our illustrations skills, okay, we're going to manipulate our basic elements of design, which is line, shapes, textures, color, and form, and we have another value and tone at the same time there, okay? Okay, we all about the principle of design at the same time. Okay, we're going to combine the elements and principle of illustrations there, okay? This is basically the thing that you're going to learn there, okay, from time to time, okay? What basically become a movement, unity, harmonize, how to communicate with all these kind of what we call that words and also elements there, principles there, okay, meanings there, okay, of those design there, okay. When we try to learn about our skills, it's not all about the skill based there, okay. We need to understand about how to communicate all the things that we learn into all these kind of element and principle together there, okay. You guys are going to learn from time to time, okay. Don't worry about that there, okay. So I already get also some of the videos that I haven't shared for these new kind of sessions or seasons over here. All right, so remember that, guys, okay, the basic step of illustration is all about the art of seeing there, okay, observations there, learn to see things there, okay. So hopefully most of you guys doesn't have any kind of eyesight kind of problems there, right, okay, to see things, okay, to facilitate those drawings, okay. Without looking at things, without seeing things in the right way, you won't be able to draw. At the same time, we want to develop also our imaginations kind of to memorize the visual informations when we draw there, okay. So that's why when we need to memorize those kind of visuals, you need to understand to learn about all these kind of what we call that basics, foundation structures there, all right, which is this one there, right, basic structures there, right, okay. So all this kind of form and figures there, right, it's all about foundation of basic structures there. Before we're going to draw as detailed as this one, we have to learn about the foundations there first, the structures there, the compositions there, the sizes there, okay, the measurement there at the same time. So this is one of the things that we need to consider when we want to learn to draw. And before you're going to learn to draw directly, it's not about tracing and copy things directly. It's all about how to adapt it, okay, those kind of informations visually into your mind using your eyes and coordinate with your hands, okay. Experience and examine the visible worlds directly in direct manner through drawings directly, through drawing. Make sure they consist dynamic of sight directly. So we're going to transfer whatever that we saw using our hands, right? Because without that kind of coordination, without that kind of what we call that connection there, okay, that's why you cannot draw well, okay. So this is some of the exercise that we did before traditionally, okay. This is some of the demonstrations, this is some of the live sessions that we have in earlier stage, all right. It's quite fun there, okay, to draw in sketchbooks here there, okay. So the drawing is not going to be quite beautiful there, okay. but it's a lessons to understand what you see things in the right way. So we call it blind drawing exercise. Okay, before you're going to draw something more like this one there. Okay, this is some of the styles of illustrations, which is the final works. Before the final works, okay, there are going to be a lot of sketches like this one there, okay? So you normally been exposed with the final kind of work. That's why you feel fascinated with those kind of works there, right? But before you're going to draw all these kind of details, learn to sketch in the right way there first. Okay, this is the most important foundations things that we have to learn before going to do those final works, okay? I don't want to see those students who actually submit those works become a final work like this one, okay? I want to see how do you sketch first those ideas there in the right way before you're going to design your final works there, right? So that's basically one of the most important things that we need to do. All right, guys. Okay, this is some of the materials that we need, but not all of them. But the most important thing is that you need to do, right? You need to work, okay, for this 1 or 2 weeks in A4 sketchbooks there, okay? I want to see how you draw, and after you draw, you shoot those photos, and you can submit in our folders over here. Okay, each week they're going to be a folders there, right? Week 1, okay, you can actually add your kind of works over here, okay? So they're going to be a minimum kind of 5 drawings to 10 drawings, okay, normally in every weeks, okay? But the drawings are going to be a little bit more like a playing and develop basically, okay? It's nothing serious there, but the only things that you put serious is how you move your hands in the right way, okay? So don't worry, I'm going to show you guys later on how it works. All right, and of course, the materials that, okay, you guys can use a ball pen like this, okay, to draw a ball pen like this there, right? Okay, you can use pencil there, okay, 2B pencil, you can use color pencils there, okay, but make sure you sharpen your pencil when you draw, right? So I want you guys to work on that first on the sketchbooks before you're going to work with computers there, right? Okay, so I want to see how you draw first, okay, who you are basically, okay, what you made of there, okay, before you're going to go more serious in digitals there, okay? So in a very short times, we're going to work with those traditional first, and then after you get all this kind of device, okay, hopefully in week 3, okay, and then we're going to start to work with digitals there. But I'm going to combine our demonstration between digital and computer at the same time there, okay? So the important thing, okay, watercolors basically is basically for other subjects, right? Okay? For color studies and also for introduction to art, I believe that, right? Okay. So all these materials is not only for me there, okay, but you guys can use also for other subjects at the same time, okay. So what we actually going to use basically is a laptop and PC and tablet pen, okay. So this is basically one of the most important kind of materials that you guys need to have when it comes to work in our lessons there, okay. And all our what we call the presentations later on, we're going to work with those slide presentations there, right? Okay. Have you guys learned how to use what we call the PowerPoint before? PowerPoint presentations? Like this one? So if you guys have used it, okay, let's just say, okay, create a new slide there, okay? And then put your names over here. Let's just say this is week 1. All right. Then introductions, illustrations. All right. Then put your names over here, all right? And your ID names. All right. And your group there, right? You say group 1 there, right? For example, like this. And then you can start to insert your works. Okay, some of the works that you have done, for example, here. drawings there. Okay, let's just say this one. Okay, put this one. Okay, the first exercise that you did, and then the second one there, right? Okay, like this one there, right? Okay. Third one, for example here. All right, and then this is basically the exercise there, okay? Title, okay? Week 1 exercise there, okay? We can do file, save as into PDF format there, right? There. All right. So very simple kind of presentations. For each week for you guys to work. For example, like this one there, right? Samples of okay. All right, like that. Okay. So we can go through with it. Okay. So you guys can see basically your works right here, there, right? Okay. So you send it over into this folders there, right? Okay. Each folder contain each particular kind of exercise there, right? Okay. All right, depending there, okay. Normally I'm going to use 5 or 10, okay. I'm not going to decide yet there, okay. But at the moment, okay, for this particular kind of, this is not basic, it's a sketch or drawing set. It can be sketches, it can be drawing there, guys, okay. Okay, I want to see what basically you have done before, or you can actually do a new one there, okay. Yeah, okay, okay, A3, you have A3 size books, okay, it's more better there, okay. Okay, what we need to draw. All right, first of all, okay, for this week, basically, okay, I want you guys to draw a human first, but based on your own styles, okay? Based on your own style, okay? You can work with your individual, yeah. So this work is where all works are going to be individual works there, right, okay? All our lessons are going to be individual kind of lessons there. All right? Are going to be individual lessons, what we call that projects there, okay? There is no group projects there, okay? So because we want to make sure that we can actually, no need colors there, okay? Only grayscale, black and white, okay? No need colors there, okay? But if you have the color kind of artworks, you can actually include also there, okay? So I want to have at least for this week, okay? 5 drawings there, right, okay? In A4 or A3 size, okay? Put it into your presentations, and I'm going to put those, this kind of brief back again there, okay? In PowerPoint, okay, PDF, PowerPoint, right? You guys can use that, right? So if you cannot use PowerPoint at the moment, okay, if you don't have any laptop yet, okay, don't worry. Just shoot photos and put your names on your illustrations, on your drawings, and then put it into those folders there, okay? Same thing, okay? So there's no rush there, okay, from that. And I want you guys to draw a human full figures there, right? Figure the first, okay? And please include also reference. Okay, reference there. Don't draw from imaginations yet there, okay? Reference there, okay? For example, if you have this kind of reference like me there, okay, like this one, okay, this one, this reference here. Not preview. Almost 12 there, right? If, for example, here directly, let's just say you have that a human, right? Anything like a human figure models there, okay? Anything you want to draw there, okay? Or K-pop there, right? Okay? Models there. For example, like this one, okay? You want to draw anything you want to draw. You want to draw yourself, full figures drawings like this, but don't draw cartoons there, guys. Okay? Please don't draw cartoons there, right? Okay? So you want to draw something like this, go ahead there, right? Okay? You can draw them. All right? But draw in traditional methods there, right? Okay? Traditional methods there towards. Okay? You want to draw details or not? Go for it okay, first, okay? Because I just want to see your skills of drawings here. Okay, your skills of drawings there, right? Okay. Sketch drawing, for example, there, right? Like this one, for example, okay. But if you cannot draw details, it's okay there, guys. Don't worry there, okay? Don't worry there. I'm not looking for to see you guys can draw how detailed you want it. I want to see your skills of drawings here. Okay, I want to see your skills of drawings there, okay? Only. Okay, it doesn't have to be too details, okay? But it shows basically your kind of understanding and your kind of what we call that kind of skills that have been made before you learn from me. All right, for example, like this one there, right? So this is something good reference there to works there. This is some of the emojis that I've done right now. I know most of the students nowadays love to draw all this kind of what we call that celebrities there, right? But this is not full figures. So we'll try to find a full figures kind of what we call that reference, then we can use them there, right? Okay. I don't know what basically, okay, I just know the names there, okay, some Blackpink, what are the names there, right? Okay, but my kids know them, right? Okay, but I don't know them, right? So some of the good reference like this can be used also to develop your, and don't draw cartoons there, guys. Okay, I don't want you guys to draw cartoons there, okay? Don't draw cartoons like this there first there, okay? This is not for our purpose of learning experience there first, okay? But you guys can actually keep this kind of photos, but don't draw like this one there, okay? Don't draw chibi cartoons characters there first. Okay, don't draw from other people's drawings, all right? Please don't do that, right, okay? And don't draw from any kind of cartoon characters here, Little Mermaid or whatever that we have here there right now there, right? But if you want to use it as a reference, go ahead there, right, okay? Go ahead. But don't draw from any illustrations there yet, right, okay? But this is more kind of advanced kind of illustration that look like children's drawing, look like a very scribbling there, okay, or sketches, okay, but this is a professional kind of drawings there, guys. This is a professional kind of illustration styles there, okay? So don't worry too much, okay? Draw on papers there first. Draw on papers there first there, guys, okay? So I want to see how actually you work with those papers there before going to work with computers there, okay? Xiao Kim Shin, okay? Yes, draw on paper there first, okay, Lumzi, Liang, and then shoot those photos and put into PDF files, okay? I'm going to give you guys those kind of briefs later on, okay, the detailed brief there, okay, in our Google Classrooms. and a few kind of samples there at the same time. All right, today, because I just want to meet you guys there first. Okay, can you guys open up your cameras there? Any questions? So we can see how many people over here there, right? Any questions there, guys? You guys can keep asking me later on there, okay? So can I see you guys there, okay? How are you guys here? We got around 99, I think they're right, 99 or 98 student, right? Yeah, draw 5 humans. Okay, we draw human because human is quite difficult there, right? Yeah, guys, okay, I can see you guys and new faces over here. All right. Thank you very much for your cooperations there, okay? I'm really excited basically to see you guys there, right? Okay. So that's why I try to prepare some advance, and also I want to prepare a bit more further basically on your lessons there to make sure that this semesters I can go a bit more kind of more detailed kind of advanced there, okay, on my works there, okay. I need to buy cam first, okay, no problems there, right, okay. Yeah, no problems there, because don't worry there, Amber there, right, okay. No worries there. Okay, later on maybe there, okay, we can introduce ourselves there. So hi guys, okay. So glad to see you guys here today. Who actually with my groups after this? Group 5, right? Who actually in my groups today? Group 5 and group 1, right?
Yes,
So
yes.
better check back again. Yeah. So all of you guys were here there, okay, for all 8 groups, is it? I think later on maybe there's a new student will be coming over and join us there, okay, for next week's there, okay. So normally we're going to be like that there, right, okay. So we see, okay, anyone actually outside, all you guys from Malaysia there, right? Right, no outside from Malaysia, like Thailand, Indonesia, you know, Sabah, maybe Sabah, who actually from Sabah and Sarawak? Anyone from Sabah and Sarawak? No? Anyone? You can open up your mics there. Oh, me or you, Amber, Sabah there, okay. Melanie, Sabah there, okay. Oh, Ashira, oh, from Sabah, right, Sarawak. Okay, Amber from Sarawak there, right, okay. Yeah. From Johor. Oh, basically, I'm actually based from Selangor there, right, Kajang, okay. Chongzi, right, Chongzi, Sarawak there, right, okay. Oh, a lot of Sarawak and Sabah there, right. Oh, yes, JB here, okay, JB, all right. Melaka, Pahang, Perak there, right. Negeri Sembilan, Kedah, Penang, Terengganu, Kelantan. I'm from Selangor there, okay. I live at Kajang there, okay. Who actually stay at Kajang? Anyone from our hometown, Kajang? Kajang Satay, Kajang there, oh. Shu Kwan Kajang there, okay. Oh, Chun Wei Kajang, ah. Oh, Jiawi Kajang there, okay. Yeah. So, Selangor Puchong there, right, okay. Okay, good there, right, okay. Actually, I'm Kajang at nearby Prima Saujana there, right, okay. Nearby also Bangi and also Balakong there, right. We have a few students at Balakong, also Ceras, right. I'm actually at Prima Saujana there, right, okay. Nearby the Lekas Highway there, right. Lekas Highway. So I've been live here, I think around more than 20 years. Yeah, more than 20 years there, right. Before that, I lived actually nearby Ceras there, right. For several years. Before that at Gombak there, right, okay. So we just move over here, okay, at Kajang there, right, okay. So glad to see you guys here today. So welcome back again. Hopefully you guys enjoy, even though we don't have anyone actually experience working outside in the various fields in multimedia or graphic design. Anyone? No? Art teacher, okay. Nurul, right? Nurul Adlina, okay. Rahima, okay. Art teacher there, right, okay. How old are you guys? 18, 19, or 20? Anyone actually have matured students? 21 or 40 something like me? 19 there, right? All right, okay, good there, right? 18 there, okay. Same goes as my eldest there, right? Okay? My eldest there, right? But she's now planning to do something else there, okay? My daughter is planning to do something else there other than arts there, right? 18, 20, Chongzi, right? Okay? 20 there, okay? Yeah. I'm actually right, is not a bright student. 22 there, okay? Choi there, okay? Yeah. Choi, where is it? Choi there, right? 20 there, okay? Don't worry there, okay? Choi here, over there. Okay, good. Thank you there, Choi there, right? I'm actually right, taking my SRP and SPN twice. So I enter university also quite late there, right? Okay? Don't worry there, right? Okay? And now also I'm still further my study there, right? Okay? So I'm planning also to further a bit more on my studies back again there, right? Okay? Even though I have more than 20 years kind of experience, so we need to study back again. Don't worry there. So we learn and learn and learn there, right? Okay? And also we try to make money out of our own at the same time there, right? Okay? So it's good to see you guys here today. So hopefully you guys will enjoy our sessions. I'm going to prepare a bit more further and further on your lessons over here. Don't worry, there, okay? But this week is not actually quite serious kind of what we call it engagement on our lesson yet. Just enjoy yourself first. Prepare whatever that you need to prepare. All right. If you don't have any sketchbooks, you can use A4 papers there, okay? You can use A4 papers to draw there first. All right. Anyone repeat students? Any repeat students? Some of the students love to repeat my kind of classes. I don't know why they're right, okay? So maybe they doesn't get enough kind of understanding. They want to repeat back again there, okay? Of not paying attention to what we call that, to submit their kind of subjects there. Remember guys, okay, in our lessons and our subjects here, first of all, you need to submit all those assignments and the projects there, okay? Because if you miss one, normally you won't be able to get past. All right. But these semesters, basically, I try to reduce a little bit on the workload. And the deadline normally are going to be have around, okay, I'm sorry there, okay, I forget to share with you guys over here in our, what we call that. Because I already prepared for you guys, but because I cannot open up my basically this. All right. Yeah, I'm going to buy you guys some time a bit there, okay? Hopefully you guys can be patient a bit. Course files over here. I want to check also basically my, okay. Normally I'm going to check those code over here. All right. And I'm going to check those names. How many students that we have? 100 students. We have 119. All right. But not all of you guys were here yet. I'm going to double check back again later on. After that, we have another students from group 5, if I'm not mistaken there. I'm going to take those attendance later on. All right. And then what we need to do basically, okay, let me check back again. Okay, the course file has been approved. Okay, we have the fundamental, basically fundamental kind of drawings here. All right. The fundamental drawings are going to be issued from week 1 until week 5. And then hopefully normally you're going to get a feedback in week 6. If we running out of times, normally, right, okay, because 2-hour sessions normally is not enough there, okay, I'm going to compile the whole thing into week 14 there, okay. But from time to times, I'm going to do some consultations there during our lecturing or our practical class, right, okay, depending on our situations there, all right. So the carry weight of those exercise, each kind of fundamental exercise drawings, all of them that we compile together, around 40%. from 100 out of hundreds there, okay? So it's very huge marks, because if you work entirely in this fundamental drawing exercise, hopefully you will get more kind of improvements when it comes to our first projects, which is we're going to do our human anatomy kind of projects drawings there, right? Okay, that means a bit more detailing drawing based on your understanding there. All right, so we're going to find a few kind of reference for you guys to draw, and maybe you're going to create a character design based on that. Okay, based on this human anatomy drawings there, okay, you're going to come up with your ideas, imaginations, and a reference at the same time there, okay? It's a 20% carry rate of marks there, okay? And the second projects, which is, I don't want to use assignments, I want to use project, because it's all about the development process, okay? But it's all about importance how to develop that kind of understanding at the same time there, okay? We're going to learn to design, to develop, to draw animal anatomies there. I didn't include this kind of what we call that project or assignments or lessons, okay, for the last few semesters, because we focus a bit more further on developing your creativity and understanding and simplifying those kind of design of characters before going to come up with some of the one big projects there, okay? I find out that because even though a few number kind of students who doesn't actually get to commit with that kind of assignments there, so it kind of like worried to me, because I don't want my students who actually want to learn get frustrations with their results there, right? Okay, that's why I try to give more intensive kind of lesson and exercise to develop and to see whether you guys can see through to develop your own skills there first. So we're going to learn about animal anatomies a little bit there, right? Okay, how to draw animals by using reference, no imaginations there yet, okay, and try to add some of the detailing, some shadings there, okay, but everything will be black and white there, guys, okay, gray scales there. So, and then after you submit this second projects, the last projects that we did, the final illustrations, are going to be your final kind of lessons of understanding there, okay? Around 20% also, okay? So to produce this one single illustrations, they need a few number kind of reference, sketches, research there, okay? So that means all of these understanding that you have been developed there, okay, from first week until, or your second week, okay, periodly until your week 10, for example, there, okay? You have learned human anatomies, you learn a bit kind of animals. In fundamental, you're going to learn to draw natures there, right, okay? And then you combine all those kind of understanding there to design one illustrations that produce the characters that combine with animals there, okay? Those are the things there. I'm going to show you guys some samples, don't worry there, okay? So we're going to challenge ourselves how to design the characters based on human and also a beast there, okay? So to see how actually they're going to be works there, okay? To see how actually going to work on that. So to challenge ourselves, but we're not going to work with that kind of like the previous kind of assignments, which is you have to draw 12 different kind of final illustrations. They're quite huge, big numbers, but I find that some of the weak students cannot actually cope that kind of exercise because of online sessions there. So I want to focus the multimedia student for these semesters a bit more further in the strong foundations there first, okay? It doesn't mean they cannot draw anime manga style for the final illustrations, but it's from your ideas and perceptions there, not from other people's kind of works there, okay? So that's basically one of the challenges that we're going to go through, but hopefully going to be fun and also excitement there, okay? Exciting also at the same time there, okay? In order to develop your creativities, okay? Before we get to jump over into our next semesters, which is digital illustrations, a bit more intensive on colorings, more creativities, more imaginative there, okay? Or more kind of simplifications there, okay? All this kind of lesson that I've been go through, I've been actually share in my kind of lessons over here, but I'm going to do some sort of improvisations from time to time, don't worry, okay? But this is some of the guidance there. What basically the student have been experienced there before, okay? a lot of details there, right, guys, okay? And hopefully it will help you guys to understand a bit more further there, okay? So most of this work basically I've done in digital methods, okay, but using a tracing or overlaying kind of methods that will help students to understand a bit more further there. But we're going to go through it more and more and more from here there, guys, okay? So hopefully you guys enjoy the sessions, and please basically ask any question if you have any kind of inquiries later on. Okay, don't be hesitant to ask me any questions there, guys. Okay, so I see you guys. Okay, we are going to take a break. Yeah, you can use Google Slide. Okay, at the same time there. Okay, hand up the practice of 5. Okay, so when we're going to hand up, okay, each week, okay, by the end of the weeks on Sunday there, okay, the deadline are going to be on Sunday there, okay. Deadline are going to be on Sunday there, okay, for each week. Okay, this Sunday are going to be 27 there, right? 27 of June 2021. Okay. So each kind of exercise we're going to submit on Sunday directly. So those kind of things that we can do directly. You cannot wait until 2 weeks of time that to submit directly. Please don't overdo the deadline directly, because a lot of students who actually delay those kind of works, okay, they're going to be suffered later on, okay, to submit those works there. Okay. All right, guys. So any questions? So please keep updated with our Google Classrooms there. 5 drawing, which means 5 different references. Yes, 5 different references you can use there, okay? So otherwise you're going to get bored, okay? Because in the futures, in the next lessons, maybe you're going to do all over again, all this kind of drawing, okay? With the same subject matters there. But at the moment, okay, with these weeks, if no PowerPoint, just send the pictures, drawing, and reference, yes. You just send over the pictures and reference on the folders there. Full body, you can draw full bodies. And 5 drawings, if you want to include 5 drawings, okay, maybe 2 full bodies, okay, another 3 portrait drawings, go ahead, okay, face only, okay, it's okay, half body also can, okay. Yeah, you can use Google Slide if you want to, okay, if you can use Google Slide, go ahead, okay, face only can, yeah, but don't draw only face. You have 5 drawings there, right? 2 drawings, maybe full figures, okay, another 3 drawings, maybe you're going to use, okay, yeah, it can be, okay, realistic can be there, okay, but not too details, okay. I can see Shin Hui actually, okay, can't wait to get out from those, what we call that classrooms there, right? So if you don't have any questions, I'm going to leave over here first, okay, our sessions, okay, until next week. And I'm going to see you guys on practical class. And thank you very much, guys, okay, for having me today. All right.
Thank you, sir.
So, all right, okay, thank you very much, guys, okay. So I will keep updating in our Google Classrooms, okay. And please basically download those kind of books that I actually share with you guys here. Going to be have a very good kind of what we call that reference for you guys, also for your lessons, right? So thank you very much, guys. Okay, for group 5, we're going to take 5 first. Okay, we're going to start over around 12:30 there, right? Okay, 12:30 there, right? Okay. So I see you guys on 12:30, and I'm going to share a new link, okay, for group 5, and I'm going to stop over here there, okay. Thank you very much, guys. Have a nice day. Stay safe. Have a good lunch at the same time, okay. Yeah, you can leave there, okay. You just leave carries there first. I'm going to give you guys a new link there, okay, to work on that. Or you want to stay there, right? I think we're going to use a new link there, okay. Okay, bye-bye. Thank you very much. Have a nice day.